In every sport, there are varying levels of greatness. Many athletes can be good, some can be great, but only a select few become elite. In American high school distance running, that elite status has been achieved by a prodigy from Rapid City named Simeon Birnbaum.
There's a lot of thrill with running and the journey it's taken me on. After the next thing, I want to do the next bigger thing.
Now a senior at Stevens High School, Birnbaum is already a 9-time state champion in track and cross country. He holds the top times in South Dakota prep history in the 800, the 1600, and the 3200, eclipsing records that had stood for half a century in the process.
It's just incredible to see these times. When I look through the list and I see Simeon Birnbaum, Rapid City Stevens, like at the top of these lists, like sometimes I just look at it, I just shake my head, I'm like, I really can't believe this is even happening.
Running has always been part of the Birnbaum family's story. Simeon's grandfather was a national collegiate champion in the steeplechase, and his father and mother both won state track titles in high school. But the Oregon commit didn't get to where he is on genetics alone.
He is not only talented, but he's our most dedicated.
He just has an ability to push himself harder than most people can.
I spent a lot of time holding him back, making sure he didn't overdo it early on.
He takes initiative with everything. It hasn't been any polarized coaching or pushing him out the door or reminding him of his commitments to get him to follow through. He's all over it, so that's how it's always been.
After his freshman track season was wiped out by the COVID pandemic, Simeon's promise began to reveal itself as a sophomore.
We just did like a time trial in cross country, like a mile on the track. I think he ran like 4:35 or something. And I think immediately we're like, this kid is like really good.
He really knew how to control a race, just his race tactics, where he looked like he was a senior out there when he was only a sophomore. And I just knew this kid was going to be special.
Simeon would go on to win 3 state track titles that spring before claiming his first state cross-country championship in the fall. With his junior track season approaching, the time felt right for a bigger challenge.
I knew that it would probably help to get him the opportunity to run in a higher level meet a couple of times.
New Balance Indoor Nationals looked extremely cool. It was at the Armory in New York, big flashy event.
He didn't get in the top heat. He didn't get in the top 4 heats. I think he was in the 5th heat, and he won that heat, and it was a great experience.
1 month later, Simeon was on the opposite coast for his first national-level outdoor mile at the revered Arcadia Invitational in California.
Arcadia is the biggest, the most prestigious in the season race for pretty much everything.
He shows up in California. He had SD beside his name, and everybody thought he was from San Diego.
I entered that meet, and it was just kind of like lobbing up a prayer that I was going to be in the fast heat.
Thanks to Coach Coy, he was able to get in that top heat at Arcadia. That's the race that I'll always remember.
Emerson and Birnbaum, 4:06, 4:07.
He pulled it out, and Sarah was with him. I think I was screaming on the couch over there, and that was just a lot of fun. Just to see that beginning of him running on the national stage and just really enjoying it.
Everything after that has just built. The stage kept getting bigger.
That bigger stage would arrive on June 15th in Seattle at the Brooks PR.
It felt like I wasn't almost supposed to be there because those guys were so much better than me. The race pretty much was just anything I've ever done before. I got out slow, worked my way up through the guys. I got connected to I think it was 4 guys, and just ran with them with 100 to go. I was like, dude, I feel amazing. And so I just ran as fast as I could.
Simeon Birnbaum with a huge final 400. Welcome to the club.
Simeon crossed the finish line in 3:59.51, becoming the youngest American and just the 17th high schooler all time to break the hallowed 4-minute mile mark.
None of the workouts said I could do it. None of the races leading up said I could do it. No one was expecting it. And so that was definitely the coolest part of that race. Once I got my name out there and ran sub 4, the world gets a lot easier on the running scene because they're the ones asking you to go to the event. They're the ones like, we can provide this for you if you come here. Once you have that breakout performance, it gets a lot easier to run fast times after that.
Going sub 4 in Seattle propelled Simeon's star to new heights. But even after committing to run at National Powerhouse Oregon, even after a second Arcadia victory this year in the 3,200 meters in a national record time, he's not let the spotlight change who he's always been.
Day-to-day life, everything I do is the same. Wake up, train, go to school, train, pretty much all the same friends.
That situation can get to your head. You could think that you're better than everyone else, but he doesn't.
For high school, running like he's a celebrity. But if you saw him as a sophomore, you see him now like it's the same kid, exactly the same.
Next on the agenda for the kid with the long strides and trademark shades, it's all about finishing his high school career strong before taking on the best in the nation and the world. Because even for the elites, there's always another level of greatness to strive for.
And it's an Olympic year. That makes the goal pretty obvious. I mean, Paris 2024. Breaking 4 was stupid, going to Paris is stupid. People aren't going to believe in me, but it can happen.
Simeon's time of 8:34.10 at Arcadia in April is still the top mark in the 3,200 in the nation this year, but he's not the only South Dakota prep sitting atop the national leaderboard. Hamlin's Gracelyn Lyseth finished last spring with the nation's top throw in the shot put, and she's currently number 2 in the country in the discus and number 3 in the shot this year, 2 events in which she's the state's all-time record holder. Lyseth has signed on to compete in the SEC next year for Florida.
Our thanks to our sponsor, Build Your Base with Beef, and all those who have let us share their stories this season. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again in the fall with a brand new season of Midco Sports Magazine.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Build Your Base with Beef Sports Nutrition and Training Program.